First off,
I'm
I'm
not
not telling
laughing in
you.
this scenario.
I haven't.
I'm trying to have a mature, logical discussion
I
with
haven't told
mature
you.
people.
I haven't told you to do anything. I said I asked a question. Wouldn't it be more
Right. You said,
logical? Wouldn't it?
why
I
would
said,
you
wouldn't it be
link
more
up?
logical to join with
Oh shit.
somebody who already has a contract written out, who already has lawyers and radio stations and all this stuff, all this momentum behind them? Wouldn't it make more sense to join forces to
And I said
reinforce?
yes.
Well, then that's the
And you
answer.
said it's not going nowhere. You said, ha ha ha, that's not going nowhere.
I didn't say it wasn't going anywhere. I just told you where it
Oh
was going.
shit.
Now, if you feel that that's nowhere, then that's on you. But I just told you where it's going.
You said that. You said,
I told.
this ain't
I told.
going nowhere.
Well,
Yeah, that's
I.
exactly how I feel. I'm amazed that you can't even keep up with the conversation.
I
You
meant this
said
conversation.
link up
I
with
meant.
Ice
I meant
Cube.
this.
I said
Yes,
I've
I.
already tried to do that, and
Okay,
you
well then
said,
we on the same.
this ain't going nowhere.
I meant the conversation going nowhere because I've already repeated this like 10 times already.
All right, so Black Restoration claims is saying that we should make a great push towards reparation. We're saying that we we're not against reparations. We're for reparations, but at the same time, let's do some things and be productive while we're waiting or trying to obtain these reparations. And I believe education is the great equalizer. And once we start pushing education in our communities, we can start acquiring these jobs or these skill sets that can obtain um, lump sums of wealth, lump sums of money that could increase our value. So we can support the nuclear family. We can support these programs that we need to increase the literacy rate in the black community. You understand that we can make these community outreach programs or our own community watch and support our own militia. All these things, like you said, take money. And in order to obtain this money, we can't do it by all working at Burger King, McDonald's, and Sonic. We need to get these highly skilled jobs or get trades like welding, HVAC,
Exactly.
electrician, deal with
Exactly.
construction science, or these fields that we need to go become carpenters, so we can increase our wealth, increase the amount of money that we get, okay, so we can build these things like buying up our block. Being able to buy up our block is powerful, so we can control and regulate what goes on in our community. You understand? So having these
I
learning
agree.
centers, having our own library, having our what's the word I'm looking for? A safety zone for our children that are abused, for the women that are abused. These things are going to take resources that unfortunately we don't have at this moment, because majority of our people are either living off some kind of government assistance, or they have their jobs are they're on the lower totem pole when it comes to jobs. So how you correct these things while we're waiting on reparations claims is to raise the
We're not
education
waiting.
of the population.
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
stop. No,
Let me read the
hold on,
definition of
hold on a second.
let
Let
me,
me respond right quick before you read that definition, brother. You can't. You're not allowed to utilize magic, right? And then claim that you are for something and willing to work towards the goal of something. Right? So we're talking about reparations, and that's the something. So when you say I am for reparations and willing to work towards the goal of reparations, you can't invoke the word waiting, because that's not how anything gets done. You can't sit around and wait for a house to be built, right? You have to build the house. And since you don't know how to build the house, you have to hire professionals to come around. You have to pay those professionals to build the house. So
so
waiting
hold on.
is not a part of any of that.
Can I respond to that? Because we talking about a house. So now we
How
talk
are you
about the house.
responding to Josh Hughes'
Hold on,
claim?
time out. Because we talking about a house. and we talk about building, and we talk about waiting. Whose house is it? Who's building? Whose building are we in? And who do we have to wait on? Who have we been waiting on? That's the question.
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah, whose house is it?
Okay, so in my scenario, the house is a concept of the home buyer, right? So then that family purchased hired professionals to come around to build the house because you don't know how to do it. Clearly, you don't know how to do it.
Wait a minute, but we're talking about reparations, right?
Oh, shit.
Because when I was talking about waiting, I was talking about waiting on other people within the house. So I'm asking, whose house is it? Before we forget whose house it is. Whose house is it?
I just told you whose house it was. It's the home owner's house. The person buying the house is their house.
Okay, we must be talking about two separate things. Because when I was talking about waiting, I was talking about waiting on the legislation. That's what I was talking about.
We are comparing. I am trying to simplify this information for your mind. Okay, so I may have to get it even simpler than that. I don't know how. What's more simple than
what is the subject here?
A house?
What is
reparations
the subject?
Is the subject, right? So I'm comparing reparations to buying a house.
Okay, and whose house is it that we are in right now that we have to report to in order to get these reparations?
God.
Because we're talking about legislation.
Hold on.
See, we keep going around in circles, but
you would understand that right now we are living in the house of a landlord.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Hold on. Why did my mic?
Since we living in the house of a landlord, right? Oh, the brother dropped off. He probably will come back. What are we gonna do while we in this landlord's house? We're going to save up our money. We're gonna put together our resources so we can get out of the.
My mic is back now.
Right. So we can get out of the control of the landlord and be able to dictate ourselves. That's all we're saying, Claims.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's just that you don't listen well. So that's why I said that he asked me, whose house are we in? And I said that we are living in the house of a landlord, but we are trying to purchase our own house. So that is common sense to me, but it's just, you guys are just slow. So now I'm saying that since I'm comparing that to reparations. So we're living in the House of Representatives like he's comparing it to, okay? And we are trying to purchase our own space and then self-determine. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I'm comparing the two. But your brains, come on, man.
Yeah, but the
keep it on high
difference
capacity.
Our model is not completely reliant on reparations. Yes, we're for reparations, but it's not completely reliant on it. Because if I can get
neither does mine.
If I can get 10% of black people to increase the education culture and get into these highly skilled fields, we'll be straight. We'll be fine.
Let me read the definition. Let me read the definition of education from the code. Education means the process of learning all things about all things, or the process of learning all things about one thing. Educated person means a person who has learned all things about all things, or a person who has learned all things about one thing. That's what education is.
Yeah.
So now from that standpoint of education, we talking about learning. A trade is learning all things about one thing.
We're never gonna get there.
That what just learning all things. Of course, yeah. But that's the goal. That's the goal. Even if you working on houses or
Oh, you
whatever.
understand goals now, huh?
I mean, let me say this and let me shut up. We're never going to learn all things about all things through one thing. That is impossible for
No, no,
us
no,
as
no, no,
humans.
no. No, you
And especially
misunderstood that.
considering,
I think you
well,
misunderstood that. It didn't
well,
say
you ain't
learn
heard what I
all
said for
things
you to come to a
from
decision on
through
whether
one
I'm
thing.
understanding or not. Let me finish. Then I'm gonna shut up. In the considering the state we are in, that ain't gonna happen. What's more plausible is that we continue our education. That has got to be an integral part of all of this when you think of gold or house. As brother said already, we are in a house and we're trying to save our shit up because they just letting us stay here to get until we get our shit together. And then when we get our shit together, guess what? We're gonna move out into their house. We need to understand the situation we're in, the circumstances we're in.
Or
We're
they'll
not
just
talking
come
about
and burn
buying
your
some.
house, or they'll just come and burn your house down.
Well, the thing about it is we understand that it's their house even if we got our shit together. Look at Oprah. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at Wesley Snipes. This is their house. It don't matter what the fuck we do. We're on the plantation, and the plantation is called North America.
Exactly.
And after that, even if we move to Britain or China or anywhere else, the white man runs the world. We are in their house.
Exactly.
Now,
I agree.
I tell you this, and this is my own bias, but feel free to chime in. The Lord owns the world. He owns the planet. As far as I am concerned, there has to be some happy medium between knowing that and looking at our circumstances and looking at our level of education, looking at our level of criminal activity. Because you find criminals, you're gonna find two sorts. One sort's gonna be kind of stupid, and the other one is gonna be highly educated. And then there's those in the middle. You see, either way it goes, that's our circumstance. How do we make it in a circumstance like that, considering our condition and our state of affairs and our
Exactly.
station? How do we operate there?
The best,
It can't be
I think
just working. Go ahead.
the
No,
best
I'm
way,
sorry to shut up.
the best way is not going to be any of the other stuff. Like I say, it's going to be working on yourself. The way we relate to each other is their biggest weapon against us. The way we relate to each other is their biggest weapon against us. And so that's the main thing that we would have to fix.
Don't do nothing else.
I'm not saying don't do nothing else, but that's the main thing that they use against us. You know,
I mean,
they've
yeah, I
always
made
they've
the point
always been
earlier.
able to they've been able to steer us into a way where we go kill each other or something like that. Always been able to do that.
Well, I look at this and I think to myself as we talking and deliberating over this. I think, we're trying to change something. I think in some aspect that's impossible to change. It's impossible to even obtain somewhere at some level in this conversation. I think being realistic about our circumstances will help us to learn all things through one thing.
I think
You see what I'm
that
saying? Would that make sense to you though?
yeah, that makes sense to me. That made perfect sense to me. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now, back in the day, uh, Neely Fuller and Francis Cress Wilson went in and created a book, which is called The Code. You hear people talk about the code all the time. A lot of men read it. I think that's a good start. If people read it, they would understand why I say that. I think it's
You
a
got
good start.
you got a
Are there
couple
points
excerpts from
to
that
the
book.
code?
Because
You got some
number one, it teaches us to work on ourselves first.
all right.
And it's written out. It's written out in a codified manner, so it deals with everything, every minute of the day, and how to conduct yourself, and all these other aspects that we're missing out on. Because it's not just about education and money. It goes back to us as a people and how we relate to one another. That's our biggest issue. You know, you stepped on my shoes, now I want to shoot you. You know, you got to deal with the basic uh, self-respecting aspect of it first.
I agree with that. I think it does start with self, individual families. You know, it's kind of the whole point I was talking about. Mentioned when Josh you mentioned the point. I started talking about OCS and DHS. This issue stems all the way back to the home. That's where it begins. The home.
Yeah, it does.
Amongst us, we're the damn terrorists. We're the stalkers. We're the rapists. We're the murderers. Just you mentioned this earlier. I'm talking about amongst us. As is written in that book, it starts with us. So when you look at us, what do you see? You see the world. You see the state of the world. It don't matter what color you put on it. It's still the same system of operation, isn't it?
Well, it kind of do matter what color you put on it because in order to get rid of that color complex, you have to look at it for what it is and then try to get rid of it. We can't say that it don't exist and then all this. We can't go around that direction. We have to look at it for what it is and then go back and figure out ways to undo it.
No,
And
I don't
most of
think it's unimportant or insignificant. I'm saying in the context of it doesn't matter, meaning if the system is the same and the people are the same in the system, the same shit is going to happen to everybody in the system. Everybody becomes affected by what is happening. I mean,
Right.
What's the difference if a white tiger comes after you, or orange tiger? What's the difference? If they're both hungry, the same result is going to happen no matter what color they are, no matter what color you are.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you take the color off it and you look at the system. Take the damn sheet off, because that's the lie. It is a lie to say, for example, it's just white folks kidnapping our people. That's a lie. Just you proved that earlier.
Oh yeah, definitely. No,
See what
I'm not
saying?
saying I'm not saying that we're not part of the problem, but I'm saying that we've been trained in that direction, so we have to be untrained. In the same way we were trained, we have to be untrained. I sat here and watched it happen over the past 30 years or so. You know, I watched it happen literally in real time. So I saw it as a training. So we have to look at it, go back and look at it again. Okay, there are processes. Anything that has training can be untrained, but there's steps and parameters that deal with how to untrain these things. And that's why I was saying the code that Dr. Francis Cress Wilson and Neely Fuller has been the closest that I've read anywhere on the earth. I haven't read anything else that comes close to how to undo that.
Well, I say how you do it. And the book probably saying the same thing. It may not be going into the depths of details, might not make so many semantical arguments, but one thing is, here's a system. Our children are growing up in a world where they love to talk to strangers. When I was a kid, we were told not to talk to strangers.
Right.
You look at some of these cases that happen on Facebook with some of these girls coming up missing, and boys too. What do you see? Here's a few, let me just run down a few items. One of them is, here's a mama whipping the shit out of her daughter for being on the damn Facebook, exposing herself, or on some website. Or here's another situation where a dad is whipping his kid's ass for hanging out with a bunch of niggas trying to be a gangster, thug, crip, vice lord, etc., etc. Here's another situation. My child is, we ain't seen him since 4 o'clock today. He's supposed to be in school. Or my son that ran off with the school teacher and he's just 17 years old. Or he's 16 years old and the woman is white that he done ran off with. Or here's a gym teacher having sex with several of his students. Why is it that strangers have so much damn power over our children? Why is our children giving themselves over to even communicating with strange people they don't even know? Well, this is somebody isn't giving somebody enough common sense practically.
No,
When you're out there away
or
from home,
the stranger is supplying them with something that they don't have at home. The stranger nurtures them. You know, I learned that over the years. The
yeah,
weirdo
I
will
get that.
nurture.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
weirdo will
get the
nurture
whole
them.
word nurture, but that ain't what's happening. Otherwise, it would be called kidnapping, now would it?
Well, we know that. I'm saying, in his own little sick mind, that's what he's doing. In his own
Well,
little sick mind, that's what he's doing. He's nurturing that child into his position, which is very successful. So we would almost have to do the same thing.
and the word nurture just became very maniacal in my mind.
It's just a word.
Right, right. It's hard for him to keep up, brother. You gotta be patient with him. You
Nah,
gotta be patient with him.
I think I put it the way it was. That's what they do, don't they? Do they
Yeah,
nurture
that's
them?
what they do. They do
Okay,
that and a lot of other things
then let's not
semantically too.
let's not sugarcoat it. Then that's what they do.
Right.
No, training somebody up in a basement is not nurture.
That is nurturing them. In the child's mind, if a child is being loved, see, y'all understand this. They might
Sex ain't
tell,
love, brother.
if you take somebody who ain't got no, if you take somebody who's never been given love and you give them love, it don't matter if you beating them or not. That's a fact, and I've watched this happen.
Well, there is a tree of good and evil, isn't
Nah, right.
Right.
I'm
So
not
that's
saying. I'm not. Listen.
the whole way of loving.
I'm not personally saying that is the right thing to do. I'm saying that that's the way it is, and that's the mind of the person who's doing it.
They think they're nurturing and loving
Yes.
that child whenever they're having sex with them and beating them.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes they do. Yes. Many times they do.
it? Or is that just the shit that they say to the victim to further enslave
I'll give
them?
you. I'll give you an
I
example.
mean, don't they know that they're doing wrong?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. The woman who steals the child from the grocery store because she couldn't have children. Now she gonna love that child in her mind. She loving this child now. Okay, in her mind, her sick mind, she's loving this child. But
Well, that's what the court. That's
But
what a
at the
court
same
would do.
time, she can't let this child go outside ever. You know. And then one day the child say, "Well, I'm the child sneak outside." Okay, now you might put the child in the basement. Now it's to the point that in her mind she's protecting the child.
Yeah, but would a court of law say that shit?
Brother, I'm not. Listen, just like I said before, this is not my thought. I'm giving you the thought of the person who does the act. No, a court of law should not say that.
So let me ask you a question. If when you were doing that, was that what you was thinking?
When I was doing what? See, this is. See, this is.
You gotta be patient with the brother, man.
See, this is the problem. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with black. This is the problem with black people. This is the problem with black people. This is the problem with black people and why we need a code. This is the problem with black people and why we need a code and why our main problem is our interactions with one another. Because see, we just covered that. We just covered that. This is the most simple and basic thing that we need is our interactions with one another and how we're able to relate to one another in any given circumstance.
Okay, so you're the psychologist, right, bro?
No. I'm on code. That's what the code
Which
is.
one is the It was a psychologist on here earlier. That's what I was asking.
No, I got this idea from Dr. Francis Press. From Dr.
I
Francis
know that,
Press.
and it's nearly full of jewelry. We heard you say that a number of times already.
Yes. This is basic.
It's so difficult for you to keep up with a conversation. We're just talking, man. You want to bang at every
You
second.
always. You steady trying to beat up on me.
You one of
You
them
steady
contrarian
personal
dudes.
foul, 5-yard penalty. You steady trying to beat up on me, but yet you just talking in circles.
All right, let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. We we t-
That's a good one.
we talking about
You talking in circles, man.
we talking about black restoration on this on the channel on the show. We talking about black restoration. What are
Right.
solutions for our
Black
people?
people. Man.
What are the things that what are the fields? What are the areas that need to be cleaned up to ensure that our people make it and that our people be successful? And one of the things we talked about was the militia protecting our little black girls, our little black children from kidnappers. We also talked about education, how that's important. The brother Claims brought up that we should be pushing towards reparations, and I believe majority of us were in favor of reparations. We just don't believe that we should sit around and do nothing and wait or just pursue that. Um, and then on this topic here,
Hold on. Why you got to downplay my plan and everybody else plan just come out real crisp?
I didn't downplay you, brother. I'm just telling you my critique. That's all. I'm recap. This is called recapitulation. I'm doing
Nobody
this for the
said
bar.
wait and do nothing about reparations. I agree with all of your plans, and I think we should do them simultaneously. And I think that reparations should be added to your list of duties, which you don't do nothing about. You don't talk about it, never. You don't reach out to the people that's trying to make it happen.
But see, we have learned through observation that even the people who are pushing for this, all in the media, all on the news, all in debates, the result has always been the same. Nothing from nothing equals the same. You got to go and ask your oppressor to give you some shit he promised you 80 years ago.
What are you
You
asking?
spend it begging and you ain't
What
got
is
it
this?
yet.
Oh, begging and asking. See what I'm saying?
You just asking.
Was you here earlier? Were you here earlier?
Yeah, I've been on here quite a few hours already.
You must have wasn't listening, because I said we're not begging and asking anybody for anything, and we're not waiting at all. We're having these discussions amongst ourselves in order to iron out the plan that to present to the people who make the laws of this land. So you got to present it. Eventually, somewhere down the line, you got to present it to the leaders, the people that are in power.
Again,
How long do you?
0 plus 0 equals the same. You're still just begging and asking. That's all you're doing. You're just working
How
on
long?
a plan amongst us. We're just working on a plan amongst each other, and we're talking about just to go ask the man. Just go fucking ask him. I'm
How
sorry.
long?
People already been
How long
asking.
do you?
Asking for
How
anything.
long do you propose? How long do you propose before we get reparations?
I don't propose any goddamn
said,
thing.
right.
Because first of all,
Hold on. He's not asking you, brother.
That goddamn statement anyway from the
He's
start.
not asking you, brother. He's not asking you.
You know.
You clearly don't care anything about reparations, so he's asking the person who cares about reparations.
Listen, don't talk for me. Now we done
He's
had
not
another
asking you.
psychiatrist on here earlier. Don't talk for me.
He's
Because
not asking you.
we can't even have
Hey,
this
brother,
conversation
who were you
objectively.
asking the question to, bro?
Listen, I'm putting it out here in a general sense of speaking.
Hey, yellow eyeball. Who were you asking the question to?
That's actually a cat in that picture.
Oh. Who were you asking the question to?
I'm just putting the general
I was-
conversation point out there.
I was asking you a question.
Okay, so why is he claiming that
I don't have anything to do with that. I can't answer that question.
right? So I'm not speaking for you, brother. He asked me a question, so I'm trying. You just said, why you can't speak for me? You can't speak for me.
Listen, bro.
How long?
Stay to the subject.
Okay, let me ask the question
I'll
again.
do a general question out there. It's to anybody that's on the thread. It's anybody listening. That's the whole point.
Okay, so how long for these reparations? How long do you think reparations will take?
Now, Clarify who you're asking the question to.
I'm asking the question to you, brother.
All right. The answer to your question is that reparations is not attached to time, and it is only attached to work. So the amount of work is like, for example, if I were to, it's not like getting paid $10 an hour, or $15 an hour, or $20 an hour. It's about the goal, right? If I'm going to build a house and I come along and offer my expertise at $35 an hour, you are going to pay me $35 an hour. Until what? Until the house is completed. So that's the goal, is to complete building the house.
Okay,
Somebody got a
okay,
stupid echo.
okay. Well, I'm talking about the money aspect of it. The money aspect, the beginning of the education. How long before this reparation process begins?
Oh, the process
Not
has already begun. Like you said, people have been talking about it for over 100 years or something, whatever you said.
what has been repaired. What has been repaired?
The psyche of the people understanding that reparations is necessary, for one, and it's owed. It's not a begging. It's not a asking. It's owed. So that's done got into the ethosphere so far. Okay, so that took a long time. That took years. It took about 5 years for me to get people to understand that. 6 years or something to get people to understand that the United States government has inherited a debt of their governmental ancestry that perpetrated a crime against humanity, that incurred a debt that has not been paid and accruing interest. So we're not asking them for anything. We're telling them you got to pay us, or
So,
you know what I'm saying, or else
but what we have to
we're gonna
do,
boycott Christmas, like Farrakhan said, or else we're gonna boycott Christmas.
yeah, I boycott Christmas every goddamn year. I don't celebrate
You
that
know we
bullshit.
do. You know Israelites do. But I'm saying
Yeah.
that's what Farrakhan said at the Million Man March. He said justice or else. Then when he got to the Million Man March and did his speech, he said, or else we're going to boycott Christmas.
Right.
So I don't think that's the smartest thing to say at that time. I think the smartest thing to say is give us what we demand, or else something else is going to happen other than boycotting Christmas.
I think we also need to be able to give the legalities of reparations and where that's coming from, because they could be assholes and say, okay, I give you 40 acres and a mule, or the equivalent of whatever that is today, and you got to be satisfied with it. So we got to figure out how to modernize what that reparation would be in today's time, from a legal standpoint. You know what I'm saying? What would be 40 acres and a mule to us in
Okay,
2020?
so if you translate that to uh, modern value, right? 40 acres and a mule is like, it's like saying 40 acres and a bitney or something. But 40 acres is worth approximately fucking over $1 million. But that's a one-time payment. So they would have came off better if they would have went ahead with that plan that the general put in place. But Andrew Johnson repealed that promise by the general. You see? So now they have no choice but to do the same thing that they did to the slave owners who lost their slaves. They paid reparations to the slave owners for losing their property.
Let me
So they
just
have
say
no
that.
choice but to do that for us now.
Let me just say that all this is already gone before Sheila and the board. and they had a panel. I think it was a panel of 7 people or something like that. Danny Glover and some other people. I don't really. Miss Malvo, she's pretty good. The economist. But they already went through all this, and I think they had a second hearing for some other stuff. But yeah, it's already in the legislature. It's already on the books and in the records already. I'm just throwing that out there, but just to let everybody know, it's already on the books.
No, it's been introduced, so it hasn't become law. So the only
Well, yeah,
way
yeah,
anything, the
yeah. It's
only
not
way
law,
anything, really, the only way anything can become law is by the consent of the populace.
brother.
So
We
the
know this.
populace,
I'm saying
hold
that's why I
on,
said it's
it
on the
ain't no we,
books.
nigga. It's the people watching. I'm not trying to teach you nothing. I'm unpacking your
Okay,
knowledge.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so uh, damn. So what I'm trying to say is the populace. This information has to reach the populace. This is why Q, with his high presence, took up the fight for reparations because he knows he can get everybody to hear about it. Just like Bob Johnson got into the fight, just like Jack A. Harry got into the fight from 227 or whatever. She's a long-time actress and an old school actress. Okay, so but I forget what show she was on. But Jack A. Harry just got into the fight. Now that boy Trump just said something talking about a platinum plan for black people to $500 billion for black businesses. Everybody's getting into the fight, but it's got to be the populace themselves has to stop getting distracted by the murders. The white races around the country are saying, "Oh shit, they about to get their money. Let's start killing people randomly and cause a race war right quick." They'll never know that they was guided into this race war. Let's do that. And then let's distract them from getting the money. Let's get them to protest about us. We'll take the L for that because we're gonna get free pensions and we're gonna get fired and get free pensions, get pensions for the rest of our life. We're gonna get paid leave. They're not gonna hold us accountable for the murders that we commit. Let's do that instead of letting them continue to talk about this reparations stuff. Do you notice after July 19th, 2019 was the hearing that you're talking about in front of the Congress. Right after that, all hell broke loose. The COVID came out, the COVID war game happened in August of 2019, the month after July 19th. Then they did a public campaign, a public marketing scheme to say, "Oh, everybody's about to get it. Batten down the hatches. Everybody stay at your house.
Sure,
Don't
I
do nothing.
understand. Yeah, I
Shut down
understand the
all
tactic.
businesses. Shut down the clubs. Shut down everything right now." That's just to distract you from getting the money. If that don't work, they're just gonna kill anybody talking about getting the money, except for me. And
Okay.
I think that's what you guys are really afraid of is to be a face of something, a face of a black anything, without
What do you mean?
7,500 armed people by your side. I think that's what you're afraid of.
What do you mean?
I think that you don't do the work necessary to get the information out to the public so they can jam the phone lines to their politicians and get the reparations laws passed. So HR 40 is the only reparations law that has been introduced to the
I
power
asked,
structure. Huh?
I asked you what the process was, and you said I was crazy. What is the
No, I didn't.
process?
Okay, for the fifth time, the process is that we figure out the plan and then we go. That's step one. Step two is that we go to the power structure and present the plan to them. Step three is that they sign the plan. Step four is that the populace applies for the plan, just like they did Obamacare. You have to apply for it, and you fill out paperwork, and then you get the whatever is there. You get it. So the fifth thing is to pay the people who have applied for reparations.
Okay. Now, is that the process that Ice Cube is using?
Um, I'm not too certain, but okay, so it's like deja vu because you said that earlier whenever you asked me what the plan is, and I told you for the fourth time 20 minutes ago. And then then you went directly to Ice Cube.
But
Then
you just
you
gave me.
said, then you said, why don't you get behind Ice Cube and link up with him? And I said, I've already reached out to Ice Cube. So now we're back here saying the same thing, and this is it's a Ferris wheel or whatever the fuck you call it, a goddamn hamster wheel, nigga. So stop doing that and fucking get on board with what I'm saying so that we can move forward and get something done.
Okay, what
Why
step
do you
are we
keep
on?
going back to Ice
What's,
Cube?
brother, I'm just trying to get to the base of it. What step are we on right now? Because you mentioned a few steps. What step are we on?
The step that we're on is getting the populace to jam the politicians' phone lines. Okay, step one is already done. We done ironed out the plan.
Okay.
So
Okay, let's focus. Well, let's focus on that.
Sure. Hold on. Wait. Sure. Step two. Step one is iron out the plan. Step two is present it to the leaders. Step three is get the leaders to sign off on it. The only way that you can get the leaders to sign off on it is if the populace forces them to sign off on it. The only way that they can get brother, I don't like raising my voice.
I'm agreeing.
So
I'm agreeing with you.
If you allow me to just say what I need to say, I will be super fast. I'm not long-winded at all. I don't know big words, so I don't stick around long talking. Okay? So now, step three is to get the leaders to sign off on the plan. The only way to get leaders to sign off on the plan is for the people to consent to the plan. The people don't particularly know about the plan, so this is why Ice Cube has to pay thousands of dollars to get the plan out into the public. That's why Bob Johnson got into it. He never talked to Ice Cube. They had whole different plans. The other brother brought out a plan, and then they hit him with some type of racketeering or he didn't pay his taxes or something. They hit him with that. So you got to expect to be attacked whenever you're doing this. So this is what I think that a lot of people are afraid of. Not you, a lot of people. Ice Cube ain't afraid of that because he done been through that his whole life. So I'm saying we are on the step to tell everybody to talk about this everywhere on every platform at the same damn time. That's the only way that it could get out into the public. And then the public has to call the politicians and force the politicians, hey, we want this plan right here. We want this reparation plan. This is how it's done. This is what we want. Do it. Or you're not going to be voted into office.
Okay.
What do you call it? Fall back. Yeah.
So what is the plan to execute that plan? Like the detail. The detail.
Here go the details. Is to convince people like you who say, "Oh, let's do something else," or Ice Cube, or Minister Farrakhan. It's and deflecting all over the place is to get people like you to tell every platform in the world to talk about this at the exact same time.
Right. Because I talk about it everywhere I go. So, yeah, you're right. I agree. So now
All
I'm
right. So now,
asking again.
which
So
platform
now
should we focus on first to get them to talk about it?
I think this is a good place to start right here. But I'm saying
You've already started.
yeah, exactly.
So now, but is got to get in goals and steps. So the next step is a bigger, but you got to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You got to get the information out to everybody. We don't. This channel does not demand the attention of 40 million people. So that's why I said every platform has to talk about it at the same time.
One person can reach 40 million people.
Like a who's this person?
You said what?
I said, who's this person that can reach 40 million people?
It depends on what we're talking about. It depends on the time. It depends on
LeBron James.
what they tried to achieve. Yeah, I mean LeBron James, Martin Luther King Jr., a million people. A little 12-year-old
Martin Luther
girl
King Jr. Wait a
from
second.
Canada somewhere talk about the
Hey,
damn weather.
why you telling me? I asked you for one person, and you talk
Oh, I'm
about
sorry
three
about that.
different
I'm sorry
people.
about that. I exceeded my parameters. I'm sorry about that.
LeBron claims. LeBron claims, brother.
Wait, wait, because I'm gonna go with the first one he said because the second one he said is completely retarded, and I know he's kind of retarded. But he said Martin Luther King, which is a
Why
dead
do
person.
you hold on? Why do you
You
insist?
said
Because that's
Martin Luther.
against the. Hold on, because we have
You
to
said,
settle one thing
brother.
first and for all.
You said Martin
Hopefully,
Luther King can reach 40 million people, brother. Martin
no,
Luther King ain't been alive since
no, because
1968.
now we're talking about name calling, and that's against the code. Now, I don't care how you talk to other people. I'm not really interested in that. But when you're talking to me, you need to stay on code.
Okay, all
Because
right, all
I
right.
don't call you
I
anything
don't know
else.
that code.
I don't
You
call
didn't
you.
ever teach us the code.
That's why you need to learn the code. Then you need to go get it.
Well, you ain't go get it. It's in your mind. If it's
No,
in your
you need to
mind,
go
why I
get
gotta
it.
go somewhere? Why don't you just teach it to us?
You need to go get it.
Okay then. So since you're not gonna teach it to us, then I'm gonna make a mistake and break the code that I don't know nothing about. So now
Okay.
I'm telling you that
Here's
Martin
the
Luther
code.
King.
Let me read it to you.
Hold on,
Let me
stop.
read it to you. This
Hold on, I was talking,
from the
brother.
great doctor.
Does the code say don't interrupt the man in his speech?
Yes, it does. That's why I stopped.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm saying that Martin Luther King been dead since 1968, so it's impossible for him to reach 40 million people. Now, I'm gonna
You
stick with the first one
you
you're talking
asked me
about.
who
Hold on,
has.
brother.
I'm
Stop it.
responding. I'm
Stop.
responding.
I didn't ask you to respond just yet. I made statements. I didn't ask a question at all. You respond to questions. Okay, so now I said that I'm gonna go with the first person that you said, LeBron James, because the third person, some girl doing the Weather Channel in Canada, is irrelevant to my mind. So now LeBron James can reach 40 million people. So then the next logical fucking step that we should take is approaching LeBron James with our plan and asking him if he would amplify our plan, since he can reach 40 million people, like you claim. That's who we ask. We don't ask the government. We ask these people with humongous platforms to help us amplify the message.
My point is that we are each an individual mouthpiece, man. We got to work as a unit and do our own part.
Yeah,
That
but you
takes.
can't reach 40 million people, though, bro.
That's
So get
debatable.
LeBron James on the phone. Get LeBron James on the phone
That's debatable.
and get him on this show right now.
What you mean? I'm not into sports or LeBron James, so I don't know what LeBron James is doing, and I don't know if I would want to put an idea behind him because I don't know him.
I asked you, who is this person that could reach 40 million people in order to amplify the reparations message so that the people can call the legislators and jam the phones and demand reparations? You said LeBron James.
No, I
That was
didn't.
your first
Josh
response.
Shube, I didn't say that. Josh Shube said that.
Your first response was LeBron James. Your second
I
response
didn't
was
say
Martin
that.
Luther
I did
King.
not say
Your
that.
third
I'm sorry.
response was
I'm
a
sorry
lady
you were
in
mistaken.
Canada
I'm sorry you
on
were
the Weather
mistaken.
Channel.
I am sorry you are mistaken, but I did not say LeBron James at any time.
Joshua, did you throw your voice over there to that man's avatar or something?
Nope. Josh Shube said that. I didn't say that.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, I see. He gets sneaky like that, and then he back off into the wilderness and hide his hand, throw a rock, and then hide his hand. I know that brother. I know he's known for that.
No,
Okay,
he probably doing other. He probably doing
so
other stuff. That's all.
but you were the one that said that some that somebody can reach 40 million. They have a 40 million people platform. You did say that, right?
No, I said LeBron claims, brother. LeBron claims.
Yes, actually,
Hey,
you
hey,
did say
hey,
LeBron
hey,
claims.
Yellow Cat. I'm speaking directly to you, Yellow Cat.
I'm sorry. Does that name appear there?
I don't see
On
no name nowhere.
okay,
What are you talking about? What name?
okay. It's
Yeah.
Christo Hotep or
Oh,
Christo
okay,
or Hotep, whichever one. It doesn't matter.
okay,
Here, let me
okay,
read you.
Crystal Hopkins.
Let me just go back and read you this definition of name calling under the code, so we'll all be on code. Do not, under any circumstances, call any person by any name or title except the names and or title that person asked to be called by, or willingly accept being called by.
Okay,
That's
okay.
code.
Now, how many? Is it pointed? Is it numbered?
No, they're in our categories, and there's 9 categories within the code. It
Okay,
covers
nine
9
categories.
categories.
Okay, can you go over the 9 categories?
Uh,
Not in
econ-
detail. I'm talking about the
right.
headlines for the nine.
Right. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, which is people relations, any type of people relations, uh, religion, sex, and war.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's yeah. I would have to read that because
Well,
that's not telling us anything.
actually, the ninth
Not telling
area
us
is
what it
war,
is.
and the ninth area is war and counter war. So yeah, any
Okay.
act of aggression is
So now,
considered war.
but you are the man, Christo, right? Who said that there is a person who can reach 40 million people. You did say that, right?
Let me ask you:
Oh
Is
my
there a person alive today that has influence and can reach
God.
40 million people?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I can think of, but
Okay, well
I'm
then that's
asking
it.
you.
Well then that's it. Then that's the answer.
I'm asking you who this
That
person
is
is.
the answer. I already answered the question. Yes, of course, there's people out here who can reach 40
I
million
didn't
people.
say are there. I said who is it?
You might be able to reach 40 million people. I don't know.
Okay,
If if
okay. Oh, well, if you
if you,
don't know, why are you speaking?
I'm saying that there are. You asked if there are people out there who can reach
I
40
didn't
million people.
say
I
are there
said
people.
yes.
I said
I said
who is the
yes.
person? Brother,
What do
is
you mean?
you
Who is
deaf?
the person? And then I gave you examples of people who have done these things. Who knows? We might be able to reach 40 billion people. We don't know that. We'd have to work hard enough in that direction. Like you were saying, if you're working hard enough in one direction, you're going to eventually get to where you're trying to get to. Now, that's not always a 100%, but I mean, mathematically speaking, yeah, if you push in one direction, that's the direction that you're going to be headed in. Getting to Chicago, right?
It's not hard to get to Chicago, and it's not hard to get to anything. It's not hard to get any law passed. It's the only reason it's hard to get to Chicago is because niggas like you got roadblocks at every mile.
What have I presented to you thus far that points to any type of roadblock?
By not directly answering simple questions.
I thought I answered every question that you threw at me in the simplest way I know how.
Yeah, in your mind, just like the lady thought she was nurturing the little girl that she kidnapped from the grocery store. In your mind, you think you're doing the right thing, and you're doing it. I said, who, brother? You asked me which question one more time.
I'm asking, man, because it's becoming confusing to me. You know, I'm asking which question were you not clear on? Which question did I not answer clearly?
That's the fourth time that you asked me that question. The answer to your question, your one question that you asked 4 times, is you said that one person can reach 40 million people. So I asked you who that person is. I didn't ask you, are there people who can reach 40 million people? I didn't ask you that. I know of people who can reach 40 million people, but I wanted to hear out of your brain and out of your mouth who these people are, not do they exist. Is that super clear yet?
In forming people, okay, whether you're going to form these people to do these things or whether they already exist and you use them as a platform to get these things done, either way, these people can be created. That's obvious because they've already been created in other spheres. So if they can be created, that means that they can be created within yourself. So we can move forward and do it or not do it. It's that simple sometimes. Now we don't necessarily have the influence. You may never get the influence if you don't have the right message to send to the people or the right platform, the venue, whatever. But yeah, you can't.
Okay, so that's where my next logical questions are being derived. I'm having the same, like how you're asking yourself these questions to people, to an audience that is listening. I'm asking the same questions, but you are not particularly answering them directly, right? So you're saying that just recreate a person who can reach 40 million people. Okay, so I'm willing to go down that road. Okay, you said turn over here, make a right at over there by the watermelon patch. Okay, I'll do that. I'll make a right. Now, I'm on your road talking about recreating a whole new nigga who can reach 40 million people instead of utilizing the people that are already in place with millions and millions of followers.
Actually, I gave that as an option. Actually, I mentioned that first. And then I said, that's like a junction there. That means either or, you could do both.
Okay. So now I'm on your road.
Hey, DJ Black Charm Music, you can come in and chime in on the conversation. What's your Facebook?
What is that claim is pussy? I need clarity in order to have a conversation, bro.
Hey, what What's that
He
brother?
don't offer clarity.
Who is this
Huh?
What
brother?
you mean I don't offer clarity?
This brother want to be on the in on the conversation, man. Who is this brother so I can add him to the group? Does anybody know
What are you
him?
talking about? I don't. How do you see a group
No, Damon
in
posted
here?
that in the back
We
chat.
in this.
DJ Black Charm. So
DJ Black Charm want to be added to the group. That's DJ Black Charm. That's you just told him to come in here.
That is
yeah, but
Facebook name though. That's what I'm saying. Does anybody know him?
yeah, no, I don't know him. He's
DJ
not a
Black
I don't
moderator.
know.
Charm. Where
Ask
is
him who
his
sent
Facebook
them.
name at?
Ask him who sent them.
Where is his Facebook name at?
That's what I'm about to figure out. Hey,
I'm
brother,
talking about.
if you watching, just
I
put
don't.
your Facebook name in the comments below, and I'll add you to the group so you can be a part of the discussion.
Jen Brooks. Is
That
that who
was
you're talking about? Jen Brooks.
I don't know the brother name.
He just was added.
I mean, is that who you're asking about? What's the dude Facebook name that you're asking about, brother?
I just know what his name is on YouTube, and it's DJ Charm Music, DJ Black Charm Music. Excuse me.
Brother, you said somebody is trying to get into the group right now.
All right,
What is the name of the person that is trying to get into the group right now?
Jen Brooks. I got it.
Holy shit.
Hey, brother, if you watching, just join the call. All right, you in the group. Jen Brooks.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, here
Now,
you go.
okay, so now I'm on your road. Now I'm on the side road. We're going down the path of recreating a whole new nigga that can reach 40 million people, or reach out to people who already have humongous platforms and asking them to amplify our message. Okay,
How
so
did y'all do that? I want to go. I don't use this. I don't use this channel. I don't use this page for this.
So I prefer to do both.
I use the Black Charm. I just try to add myself to your group.
Yeah, you can't add yourself to the group. Somebody has one of the admins have to do that. You're welcome to the group, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah, black OG. Yeah, OG. Now listen. Okay, so now it's either or. Now we got two options. We can recreate a whole nigga that got a 40 million people reach, specifically 40 million black people reach, or we can deal with the thousands of black people who already have, and white people who already have a 40 million black people reach. So I'm going to take option number 2, right? I'm still on your road now. It's your side road. It's a detour that you put me on.
I think claims we dropped the ball with Kanye West. I think instead of attacking Kanye West for the things he was saying, and some people might be like, we could have used Kanye West. He damn near could have been our political figure, man. But black people don't think like that. We too damn destructive. We never think constructive. The brother was trying to get rid of the 13 and 14 and 15 Amendment because of its implications on the industrial prison system, where our people are going straight from the damn school system into the prison system. Because it's legal, slavery is legal as long as you are a criminal and put in prison. And he was trying to get that removed. And brothers was calling him coon. Brothers was lambasting him online. We was throwing all type of salt on this man, instead of saying, "Hey, what can we do to get back him?" Because he's a black billionaire, and he's influential.
Well, you know what happened with peace, y'all. Shalom. You know what happened with Kanye West? He was speaking to the issue. He was speaking to the. There's a whole bunch of noise going on.
Shit, my bad. No, that's me. Hold up. Let me mute. Hold up. Let me get back in here.
Well, with Kanye West, he was speaking to the ill wills that was going on in Chicago. He like people was like, why he trying to get Tukey Wick? That's the person he grew up. That's his OG. Everything he was talking about was happening in his backyard. We all wanted Kanye West to speak about what's going on in our backyard. Kanye West didn't grow up in Atlanta down here with me. He didn't grow up in Mississippi with the other cat, Texas or whatever. He could only, when he had his chance to talk to the president and kick with the president, he talked about some Chicago shit. I couldn't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Not me myself personally. I couldn't be mad at that. Now I understand what you're saying. When he did that, everybody was like, "What in the hell is he talking about?" Just start throwing him under the bus. Other than recognize that he talking about some Chicago shit, get behind what he talking about with this Chicago shit, and then that way it could trickle down for other people to, you know what I'm saying, to do the same thing. When T.I. met with the president, it was pretty much, and Young Jesus, when they were around, when Barack Obama, it was pretty much some photo op type shit. They ain't talk about nothing that could be done in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, to help nobody out and stuff like that, you know. And even with Monica, what she just did, reaching out with Kim Kardashian, everybody siding with Master P and all that old stuff, and she just like shit. She just want to get her friend out of prison, see murder. You know what I'm saying? So that other stuff, like we go down the wrong rabbit hole of who we hate in our politics. But what made me want to jump on this live was I heard y'all saying that 40 million, one person can reach 40 million people, and I beg to differ on that. I think one person could, you know what I'm saying, accumulate stuff like Floyd Mayweather. He got $1 billion, but Floyd Mayweather, because even though he got $1 billion, his voice is not strong enough to reach 40 million people, especially to follow. Now, 40 million people may see his billboard, advertisement that come across television or internet or something like that, but it don't resonate to stop and see what the hell Floyd talking about. The same thing with LeBron James. They have done other stuff to make people have a bad taste in their mouth as far as the black community is concerned.
Anytime.
So, and the thing that you said about Kanye West, using Kanye West, we supposed to use Floyd Mayweather, LeBron James, Kanye West, Serena Williams, all of them. With anybody that want to attach themselves to it, because one person alone is they like 40 million eyes may see it, you know what I'm saying? But that don't mean it's gonna resonate. And I think that resonation is a whole nother type of thing, when you're talking about putting out a message,
When I say one person, let me clarify. When I say one person, I don't mean one person standing alone. When I mean one person who uses the next person, and that person might use two more people. Right. It's each one teach one until you get there. You know what I mean? When I mentioned Dr. King, he didn't work alone.
Right. He did.
He had a team of people. And that took time. That took time to build up and manifest. It's not something like, it's not one person. One person ain't good unless you just already powerful, unless you just already have a face. If you don't have a face, then you got to go the back row, which is grassroots.
Oh, that's another thing. That's a perfect segue to my contention. Right? With the famous people that you mentioned, right? But with the exception of okay, so I'm not gonna mention those specific people, right? But famous people, right? I'm gonna tell you what they don't do. They don't connect to the grassroots. They come up with their own plan independently, and then say, "Everybody follow me," since I already got a following. I'm a great artist, and I paint the best pictures, and I done sold the most paintings. And in the art world, I'm the man. Right.
That's why I like. That's why I like Ice Cube, because he went outside that box and said, "Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to others in the community, and I'm going to pull together people from economics, law, psychology, all these things. Because, like he said, I'm not an expert in any of these things.
Right.
I didn't know anything about them. Yeah,
he's got a extremely comprehensive plan that everybody says.
Let me throw a question out on the table, Clay. I want to throw a question out on the table, and I've been running with this question. I ask everybody in my family, in my personal blood family. I ask everybody this question. Now, some of us, me and my brothers and sisters, we got the same dad, but my cousin, them they got a whole nother dad, mom and dad, and all that old shit, right? So I say that, cause what if your daddy, slave master, was worth a blunt of weed, and my daddy's slave master, was worth $1 trillion? Do we get the same reparation, cuz?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm putting it out there like that because because everybody be talking about reparations in the form of money.
Is it rhetorical or is it a serious question, brother?
Yeah, because your slave master could have just got you on a piece of paper.
What type of question is it? Is it rhetorical or is it a serious question?
It's a real ass question. It's a real question. Meaning, your slave master could have bought your great great grandfather for a horse. And all he think he wasn't worth shit. The slave master wasn't worth shit. He stayed in the hut, but he had a horse to trade for somebody to work his field.
Mm-hmm.
So is your reparations worth the same amount of reparations that when you went to these folk plantation, they don't even look like slaves? They well dressed, they getting educated, and you know what I'm saying? Do y'all get the same thing that these folk get? Because his trillion slave master made sure that they ain't had to do no slave type work. So now they birthing they birthing some W.E.B. Du Bois and some what's the other Frederick Douglasses and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They birthing those type people. They even birthing people like Abraham Lincoln who can say, yeah, I got some my great granddaddy black and all that. So they birthing this. They birthing a different type thing. You know what I'm saying? So all those people that come from they have a whole nother life now, and then you got those who obviously they so impoverished. You know what I'm saying? That shit come from their great grandparents were impoverished. You know what I'm saying? So do they get the same thing?
Okay, stop. Please allow me to answer because
my bad.
First of all, that is an incredibly hilarious and well thought out, genius question, right? So whoever said that, who you said your nephew had said that?
Yeah, that was me.
Or your son? You said that?
I said I'll be asking my brothers and everybody that. You know what I'm saying? I ask everybody that. Do we all get the same reparations? Because it's so blatantly put out there. We need to go to court and demand reparations. Okay. Now you're talking about
first of all, hold on, brother. Let me ask you a question, man. Yeah. So first of all, I gotta start off by saying that is a terrific. Boy, you was a genius. Okay. But then, on top of that, the only way, I never thought about that before, but I'm getting ready to think about it right now, right? So while I'm trying to say the answer, I'm thinking about it, right? And I'm saying that the amount of reparations is set as it stands, right? At this moment, the amount of reparations is set, and that right there, your question may have to be analyzed seriously, as far as the numbers and the financials go.
Dr. Malvo went over that already.
Who? Dr. Who?
Dr. Malvo.
What was their conclusion to that? To a scenario like that. So advanced.
She was saying that even though the initial and the most of the reparations is looking toward, our ancestors, the many things that have been done to us over the years compiled into something completely different. It's nearly double the amount.
Right.
Absolutely. And it's accrued
redlining and all that.
Right. And it's accrued with interest over time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she already broke all that down. I probably got to go back and look for the video.
Right. So check it out. I understand what you're saying.
But hold on a second, Black. Hold on. Let me ask him something right quick. Dr. Malvo, right? Mm-hmm. She analyzed that, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but her conclusion was that everybody gets the same amount, correct?
I'm not sure if they came to the idea that everyone would get the same amount because they still talking about these things. I
Right.
mean, they
Right.
literally still
Oh,
talking
Dr.
about these
Malvo
things.
is a new lady.
No,
All
no,
right.
no,
Now let me
she's
put
not
it.
new. But but
Let's
when they
my fault.
sent it in front of Miss Jackson, uh, that's when
Lee?
they had the conversation, and then they the next court date was set. I forgot what it was set for, but whatever. So it's an ongoing conversation because it's not a small issue. So I'm sure there's going to be many conversations had.
Okay, well, you know how I look at this. I look at this particular situation, right, as similar to the recommendations from multiple groups, right? Like the group of the mayors in America, right? They raised reparations from $1 quadrillion to $6 quadrillion. And we know that in their system, the white supremacist system, they have not been able to replicate $6 quadrillion yet.
They never will.
Because it's filled with greed. So they can't reach that type of pinnacle. You understand? So I look at this particular solution as a trying to price us out of the game, so to speak.
Mm.
You go around
I mean,
to
it is priced out.
something right, a house for sale, and then it say we're selling this house for $100,000. But then when you come around and ask about the house, they selling the house for
It's a million now.
So
three
so
million. You know what I'm saying?
so
Yeah.
They trying to
Clay,
price us out of the game. Yeah.
so Clay, so you saying that they making the price exorbitant so they can say that it cannot be achieved.
Yeah.
I think the way around it is okay. You can't give us the monetary value of reparations. Give us free schooling, free housing, and free health care with a check, right?
That's what Hawaii did. I mean, minus
A
the
check
check.
of what? A
Minus
check
No,
of
minus
we
a
still get
dollar
money.
amount.
We still get a dollar amount, but it won't be that 6 quadrillion that he's talking about. But they still
Let
find it.
me let me pose something on the table right quick, right? So America break bread with us with all this money and land like that. So don't nobody think that it'll take America under. What would y'all do if we were under a Chinese rule or a Russian rule? Because if America don't have any money, then somebody else gonna take over the rulership.
I think we'd be better under the Chinese rule. I ain't gonna even lie to you, man.
American
So now
American
our women gonna be subject to
American money
sweatshops.
American money is
No, you're
only
speaking from an Israelite perspective, Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to China, they virtually leave you alone, and you know what I mean.
You can't worship like you want to. It's free for us to worship as Israel over here and how we
there's
want
no
to worship. We can
there's no such
we can
thing.
wear fringes and everything. If you under that Chinese rule, your ass finna be I think they Muslim, and they practice they Muslim a whole nother
Chinese
type of way
not.
than what you than
No,
what you
Chinese are
understand.
not. They don't worship. They're more of a Buddhist. They're more into Buddhism.
I
Do they
thought they was
practice
Russian. I thought they
religious?
were Muslim with the Russian
Taoism,
folks.
Shintoism.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like Taoists and Buddhists and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know some of them in a Tao in a Dao. It's called Dao. And I know a lot of people into the Taoism. The Chinese are into that. You know what I'm saying? Those are most like the people in Tibet are the forest type people. But the inner city people, they with the star, they with the moon and the moon and the star stuff. You can look it up. I ain't lying to you.
all right. But that's divert. If America became a vassal country under
Yeah,
China,
that's what I'm saying.
they
On
they not
anybody,
gonna
just say
make
on anybody.
they gonna have some religious intolerance because those African countries are pretty much vassals to there's some African countries pretty much vassal to China,
Hmm.
and they let them rock. They do what they they had a religious observance or whatever they doing over there. They don't police nothing
Okay,
like that.
maybe I'm not informed on that, but how I'm programmed for how America getting information out that like places like Russia and China, although they powerful, they still have a certain type of dictatorship. You know, so if we plummet America from, even though we
Hey,
don't, nobody in America, white, black, nobody don't really understand what
Nelson,
true freedom is.
mute your
Even though
mic,
we don't
Nelson.
understand what true freedom is, being under Russian rule or Chinese rule, I think that'd be way worse than being under this British rule.
No,
Yeah,
That
it
is
would
that's
be
that
just
would
what
America
be
got
America
hell.
you.
is now.
Uh,
It's called syncretism,
it's
and
pretty
that's what's
bad in
historical.
America. It's pretty
You
bad
know,
in America. You get shot down by the police.
It does
Uh,
right. It doesn't matter.
you
Listen,
get
it don't matter where you at. It
we
really
get
don't.
disproportionately arrested according to when we compare ourselves to other races and ethnic groups. Black people are being incarcerated 5 times the rate as white males. Our education system sucks here. Our presidents are idiots. I mean, we can just keep going and going. Like, how is it going to be any worse under China? I believe it'll be better under China.
Cause China
Well,
letting they
well,
civilian
well,
kick niggas asses in the middle of the street and they just standing up watching it. Y'all didn't see that? Them Chinese beating them Africans up and the police just standing up. Yeah,
right.
y'all
This
didn't see that earlier this year when the pandemic first popped off.
Man, they
How
do
the
that over
Chinese people were
here.
beating up those
Hold on,
Africans
hold
and
on.
those Africans wouldn't even fight back.
this what you got.
Let
This what
general
you
They
say
got
what
so
to
he got to
proud.
say.
This what you got to understand about that situation, man. You know, if you go back maybe a year and a half or so, and you see where Trump, he goes over there and he talks to, if I'm not mistaken, a mere king, president, whatever, however you want to pronounce the leader over there in China, right? He goes over there and he has a conversation with these motherfuckers and he says, we're just like you. You know what I'm saying? We come from the dragon. You know what I'm saying? We got the same bloodline. Not in those exact words, but basically that's the point that he was making. You understand what I'm saying? Shook his hand and all that. Said this shit on national TV. So if you think for a second
Trump said that
that
it's from the
anybody
same
outside
bloodline.
of us ruling ourselves is going to have our best interests in mind, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. How do we understand this to be a fact? Well, if they had any type of understanding that we're being mistreated here, right? When they come into our communities, they don't make the money from us and leave. They make the money from us and then help build, and then they come move into our communities to help build because they understand what we're going through and they don't mind, living amongst us. This is not what they do. This is not how they carry themselves at all. I'm talking about the Koreans and the Japanese and these Chinese people right now, today in 2020, right? So I would just say this: when it come down to this reparation shit, if they not talking about giving us our land or them moving away from a land where we already at, we occupy, and they go somewhere else and do what the fuck they do, then this conversation is just circular. It's going to keep going in circles and circles and circles, and we ain't going to ever get to no point.
It doesn't matter where they go because it's still going to be the same people.
I don't
And
give a
white
shit.
supremacy
As long
and
as
white
they're not amongst us,
supremacy.
look, Christos, this is my thing. As long as they amongst us, it's hard for us to maneuver and get up out of that fuck shit that they got going on, which is their system. When they
Right, but
ask
I'm
us
saying
somewhere
even
when they ask us somewhere else, right, in a whole other land, right, doing whatever the fuck they do, however they do it, that shit ain't gonna have nothing to do with us. As soon as they want to try and call themselves feeling like they big and bad and want to come over here and try and police some shit, then they gonna have to deal with what we gotta do, what we gonna bring, which is something that they have no idea about because they not
brother, you
amongst us
talking
no
about
more.
we talking about missiles flying. We're not talking about some unrealistic
Fuck
thing.
they missiles, bro. Do you understand what the look? I'm gonna say this.
If they in another, okay, but let me.
I'm gonna just say this, Christos, and then you can have it, bro. Because the way I think and I move according to our power, right? And when I look back at my ancestors and the kingdoms and and the warriors that they have to fucking fight against, brother. We wasn't ready for that shit. We wasn't equipped to fight against them. We whooped they motherfucking ass though. That's what we did, dude. And they had, at that time, you can say that they had futurized weapons, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? New technology back then. They had all that shit compared to our primitive weapons and all that, right? Swords and shit, right? But at the end of the day, we still whoop their ass. So I have no fear about what other nations of people got. They got that shit. They can have it. You see what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, they know who we are. We need to understand who we are, where our power lies, bro. That's the problem with us right now. That's the whole reason why we keep going back and forth with each other about coming together. You see what I'm saying? Because once we come together and we get in that one mindset that the Most High is going to do what He said He was going to do, fight our battles, stand for us, protect us, and all that, bro, ain't nobody can fuck with us on the planet and outside of the planet.
That's real, Yeshua.
Here's the mic, bro. You got it.
That's real, Yeshua. And America got us thinking. They got us going down the wrong rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? The rabbit hole of saying, well, I can do it. Now you got to do it through the, you know what I'm saying, through the power of God. You know what I'm saying? You probably, you know, ask God for the strength to link you up with different brothers. The same conversation we're having right now, to link different people, let each one teach one up. You know what I'm saying? Each one use one, just don't abuse one. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. You know how the Bible talks about not being in usury and stuff like that. But you are right though. You know what I'm saying? That we got to pretty much lean on the power of the Most High to do it. If we keep down the rabbit hole of I need my $1 million and stuff like that, then they could keep playing that. They could keep, you know what I'm saying, playing with us like puppets on strings. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that commercial with the one white man with the dollar on the end of the fishing pole, and he talking about be quicker than that. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like we ain't quick enough. We quick to the slow. You know what I'm saying? By the time we catch on, they on to something else. We talking about not getting the IFD chip in our bodies and stuff, and they already getting them in their bodies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So while we on one fight, we go. They got us running down the wrong rabbit hole, other than running down that rabbit hole of leaning onto the Most High. But I don't want to be preachy about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know this conversation ain't that. You know, but that I feel that's how they got us running down the wrong rabbit hole.
No, that's a big part of it. But I would identify who they are. I wouldn't. They are we.
I mean, they includes the weak. You know what I'm saying? Includes black people, Chinese people, white people, everybody who's against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Those people who are against us coming together and being connected, like the one white kid was talking about. He's against the idea of. Ain't nobody asked you to the vocab. Ain't nobody asked you to have to be intrigued about our idea anyway. You know, but the whole world is intrigued by our idea. You take your ass through that airport and land in Israel, they gon' interrogate you to make sure that you ain't no American black Hebrew Israelite that's about to come over there and try to turn their land upside down. You know, I know some people that went over there for some weddings, you know what I'm saying, or just to vacate over there and get interrogated to the point of harassment to where they ain't enjoying their trip. You know what I'm saying? So
that's because some of them brothers went over there, and I ain't gonna mention no names, but that's because some of them brothers went over there making a mess out of it. Right. I'm speaking in general terms here. I'm saying, you know, some of these brothers, older cats, been down there for years, let drug dealers, gangsters, doing scams on people. You know what I'm saying? Running
over there and claiming
you can go up there. You mention certain people names when you go up there. They like they can't come and get you, and if you ain't got no way to get there, you stuck. Better go home.
Right.
And that's
hopefully the U.S. Embassy.
Land, you know. Yeah. Yep. You know, it's pimping. It's I'm gonna start calling the Hebrew Israelite pimping. What was mentioned earlier is the same thing. We're gonna go begging and asking for something. And also like the brother post, well, out of the house nigga and the field negro, which one gets the most? How much they get, and who gonna give it to them?
Right. At the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end when you get through talking. You know, and this ain't to derail the conversation. It's just the point that this got to be a part of the conversation. We can't eliminate that by talking about what they did to us when it is us saying we need to go to they. They owe us. But then how's, let's say it's 1,000 of us. How we going to all go with no understanding?
Right.
Well, see, that's why,
I mean,
that's why we, not to cut your bill, Christos, if that's who was about to speak. That's why the Most High gave us instructions, bro. That's why he said be patient, bro. Patience is a virtue for the righteous. And if we can just be patient and hold out, right? Everything that was taken from us will be given to us in 10 folds. Beyond our imagination, bro. But see, if we keep trying to push a limit and push a line, man, you know what I'm saying, then they have a limit. They're not unlimited like the Most High power that we serve. So we got to understand what we doing, bro. We don't ask heathens for shit. We never asked a motherfucking heathen for nothing in our history. Look at it. Read it. Show me where we asked a fucking heathen for anything, man. Especially with
right, all they do is get mad.
Other than the fact that we say the Most High said let us go. And when they say nah, and they want to, you know what I'm saying, puff their chest out, you know what I'm saying, the Most High deflate that shit for them. I'm just saying, bro, like we gotta, I don't know, man. We gotta figure this shit out, and you know, having that handout, you know what I'm saying, from the motherfuckers that want to chop our hands off, it don't make no sense.
Like I said, I think the best way, man, the best way is to go back to teaching just the basic things that we're supposed to be doing.
Man,
outside
of America,
all the extra stuff. I'll go ahead.
I think America will fold and let somebody else rule us before they allow the Black American to take over the country.
I think so too. That's my whole point. I think so also. Exactly. That part.
I don't think.
So that's why we have to practice our power. We have to practice having our power, because if we don't practice having our power and practice on how we be cordial to. I ain't saying we got to have allies with other countries, but you got to be cordial, because if some shit pop off like that, you know, America, the European and the British will turn their back. They say, well, shit, we ain't got no. We done. They took all the money. They own everything. So we done. We gonna take our military. You know, and we're gonna take our medicines, and they on their own. You know, not saying that we ain't got our own engineers to create our own military medicine, but we talking about 200-300 years of military medicine. So, you know, they'll turn their back on us, and it'll allow us to have to acquiesce to another country. It'll force us, not allow us. It'll force us. I say it like that. So we have to be careful on what we asking for. Not even asking for the type of agreement we trying to put on the table, you know, to say, give us this land and give us the capital to be able to operate, you know, and give us the freedom to operate, because we see what happened in Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? How they messed up that water, and we just talking about Flint. Flint is one place.
That's what I'm talking about. We shouldn't be asking these motherfuckers for nothing, yo. We shouldn't be asking them, give us nothing. That should not be, those type of words should not be formed in our mouths.
Yeah, give is the wrong word. Let's say negotiate. Let's negotiate what's out. Because if we don't negotiate, then it's an all-out war. So, I mean, I guess war is a form of negotiation.
That's what we're dealing with. We dealing with a warlike people, period. That's all they know. They don't know negotiation, Charles. This shit right now that they deal with and that they try and put out there as a smoke screen, it's felonious and it's fake, bro. Like, they don't deal with negotiating.
Right.
They set that shit up with some fake shit. They act like they sitting there negotiating while they plotting how they about to come in and take that shit.
And technically, you still at war. You know,
we ain't never been out of war.
That's what I'm saying. It's never been declared over. every other war was declared over. They stood around with their champagne and clapped their glasses together after World War II,
Is not the
Vietnam.
fringes still around the American flag?
Exactly. Yeah, that's military under Title 50.
Right.
Yeah, it's there.
It's still on there. You look at
Yeah, it's
if you
still
look
there.
at for the last
Under,
past 15, 20 years, them goddamn fringes been on that goddamn flag, yo.
yeah.
And you can go back further than that.
That's why I say we're gonna have to use white people too, man. I
Oh,
went a
they
couple of
wanted to
years
use,
ago.
a lot of those
I,
white
I
folks, they children don't woke up and seen it. How they grandchildren, I'll say, woke up and seen that their grandparents and great grandparents, even their parents are demons, and they bucking against that, they
yeah,
bucking all the way
cause they
against that. And I gotta give up. I ain't gonna say that not damn nigga on planet Earth made them white boys, white girls, children see that. I think that was God did that.
actually that was me.
Okay, cool. I go for that.
If you if you look back on my page, there's a full outline of how I was gonna do it, and then I proceeded to do it. It's all written out. You can go back 8 years. 2012, I think, was the year I started that.
Oh, you were saying that they children gonna
It
wake up and
started
see how
out.
evil their parents
It's
are?
Yeah. It started out with 100 people, and those 100 people, their challenge was to create a page to get people to understand that there were, number one, two Americas, because you under America, and then you got the United States Corporation
Oh,
Company, which came
right.
about around 1925. So it's basically divide and conquer. Let them conquer their own system. That take out half your battle, and while you doing that, I don't know where Black Lives Matter came from. Somebody threw a left a left hook on that one.
You know where that
That
came
wasn't.
Yeah, I
from.
mean
Hadn't been no
that
movement
that
around since
that
the
that
Rainbow Coalition.
I didn't
that
see
was
that
brought
coming.
that was brought to what I'm saying, touch the emotions, what I'm saying, of those who really buy into that black shit.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
black
yeah, yeah.
power, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you
Black
gotta
power. Yet they
understand
taking the family.
that shit
Yet
came
they
out
take a
right in the
family away.
midst. That Black Lives Matter shit came out right in the midst when we was trying to knock that shit off the title of Black Hebrew Israelite. Pay
Right.
attention. Like as a whole, we like, man, we don't attach ourselves to that shit. We don't even address ourselves as black. So why the fuck do we think we gonna call ourselves Black Hebrew Israelites?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
You see what I'm saying?
right.
So
Well, that's how it always
that
works. They
shit,
got to get rid of wherever they see that some type of structure is being built. They're gonna come along and knock that down. So
or at
you're
least
gonna have
try
to
to.
get rid of the system of white supremacy, and the best way to do that is to use their kids. That's already been proven. I've already proven that.
But they don't have a problem if you know they understand sacrifice. The children don't understand sacrifice.
Yeah, no, Donald
Them
Trump
wicked
talking about make
motherfuckers will
America
kill their
great
children,
again.
bro. Them wicked motherfuckers will kill their children, bro.
Yeah, I know.
And
They showing you that right now. They showing you that
one
right
thing
now. You
about it,
saw.
they're going to have another seed, even if it's just one or two, by a whole other fucking heathen nation compared to them, and allow them
Mm-hmm.
to carry on after they
Mm-hmm.
done wiped out their own blood. Like they don't give a fuck about nothing but whatever they got going on in
Yeah.
their little mental wicked ass brain, bro.
Right, but I'm saying a way to get a lot of things done, a lot of little things even, a lot of things done, and get it done without the casualty of your own people.
Senator Christoph, my bad, brother.
I'm saying to be able to get a lot of little things done and get them done without the casualty of your own people.
That's gonna be impossible when you
It's
got
already being done.
Negroes.
I just explained to you how I did it.
I'm saying
It's
we got
already
a
been.
bunch of fucking renegades. Now, not saying I'm not finna say our brother Michael X was one. You know what I'm saying? But we know we got a bunch of them kind. Even though the news probably got it wrong, saying that he was one. I feel like they got it wrong saying that he was one. But in our reality, we know we got folk amongst us that ain't got no off switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga you just can't take nowhere because he ain't got no off switch. A good brother got a sweetheart, you know what I'm saying? But just don't have an off switch. You know, so we got a bunch of those. We got a whole bunch of cleaning up to do before we act. You know what I'm saying? Well, before we introduce anybody to our house, and I think that's we do that so readily to introduce our home to these other nations, other than getting our shit together. You know what I'm
That's a
saying? We
fact.
still
Well,
got to
that's
get
what
our shit together.
That's a fact. I brought
The
it up
Bible says
earlier.
no
that's what
man
the
shall buy you. So
that's
when the
what the
Bible says
code
no
is
man
for.
shall buy you, say it again, sorry.
I said that's what the
I'm sorry.
code is for. The United Independent Compensatory Code System concept, a, a compensatory counter-racist codified code.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Break it,
ask
break
y'all
it, break
niggas a
that
question
down.
real
I'm
quick?
sorry.
And this is serious. This is serious business because this is dealing with the African Union, right? Now, with the sticking with the conversation of reparations, would the African Union play a part in helping us receive reparations? Let me just ask y'all that first question.
Where they owe us, and they already on record apologizing from countries like Kenya and all that. So I mean, the only participation that I can see them doing is giving us that land that we so much need, and financially, I don't think their currency is gonna match USD. So that's my opinion. But anybody else can chime in. I'm you out.
Wait, whose currency you said
Sorry,
they gonna
repeat that
match
question
USD?
again.
I said the African
It's
Union,
not going to match.
the currency of the African Union don't match the currency of the USD. So, for instance, like people talk about moving back to Ghana, right? Ghana got this currency called the cities. The cities is so you have to it's 1,000. So put it like this: 17 a dollar over there is worth 17 cents over here. In other words, so that's how much more work you have to do to have a dollar when you live in Ghana, because their currency don't match the USD.
But that's why we should go over there as expats and make
And have
and
our
make
currency chip, and have our operations here
yeah,
and
make
live over
money,
there.
make American money in a foreign
Mm-hmm.
country that's poor like that. You're gonna live like a king over there because you making so much more. Like you said, 17 cent is compared to our dollar. So if you making
Mm-hmm.
$4,000 a month, you rich over there.
Now, the thought process
Right.
is this, Yashu, right? This is the thought process that we have to have if we're going to have that thought process that you just introduced, right? We can't think that we're going to live like kings, even though that's a fact. The truth of the matter is,
Yeah,
we
build a
need to be
people.
level with the people,
Yeah,
bringing them from where they are to a different status. What that does for us as a nation coming in to a nation that needs and that we see that's in poverty is just like back in the day when we built up Spain and other motherfuckers came in that was a little bit more powerful than us and ran us up out of our land, took our shit. You know what I'm saying? Made us get up out of our shit and everything,
Because we
right?
was doing right though. You
So
saw
the
we was
thing
giving
is
all the
to
glory to
to come
God.
in there, right, with that mindset of building the natural natives up to a
Mm-hmm.
status where now we are on the same level financial wise. So now when we sit at the table, they looking at me as an equal, not somebody that they need to take the fuck out.
But
Because
wouldn't
Right,
that
I'm not
like
mean
what
one of
the
their
that they
South
would
and,
Africans
have to
doing the
and,
white
become
and,
man.
and nine times out
subservient?
of ten, my interest is only for me building and they getting a little bit.
Well,
Right.
wouldn't
Where
that
if
mean,
I
wouldn't that
come,
actually equate to them serving us
no, that wouldn't equate to them serving us. That equate to them becoming independent. We helping them to become
eventually?
independent. So now what
Yes,
that does is
eventually.
that creates an ally that's unbreakable. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean,
Because if
just
you
think
come
about it,
over
bro.
with
Because
wealth
at
and you
the
want
end
to
of the
build a
day,
business, right? Wouldn't you
go ahead.
utilize the people that surround you?
I mean, if I
Shit,
already
man,
got
he's
my
using
big,
Chinese
if
in
I got,
Africa. They ain't using them Africans.
if
They
I got
using
my
them Chinese.
business, if I got my business already established here, and I go there, right? If I'm not bringing my whole business and I'm leaving this here to make the money for me here, and I go there, so then when I get there, now I'm going to build my another business how I got it in America, and yes, they're going to work, but they're not going to be working for pennies. They're going to be making enough money to where they can sustain themselves, and then not only that, but help their relatives that don't have to work, that don't have the jobs that I'm providing at this particular point in time. Now, if it's like 5 or 6 of us or 10 of us that's coming in there with that mindset, now we just done help the whole nation of people. Just out of 10 people with a mindset, a business mindset, to come in there and help build them up.
Right, and you build a rapport, and the people tend to protect you against the outside forces too that speak against you, because you can't just come in there and flash around a bunch of money around a bunch of poor people.
They're gonna knock you off.
Right, they're gonna knock your ass off.
That's
but they got to
become a bigger
be able to,
and want to buy stuff up from other people. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
make
right.
slaves and make other people around them subservient. Without an ideal, without having a realistic ideal, you're not. You know. That's why I said, you know, this is gonna bring them down to a point of subservience.
The realistic idea is this, Don, is that it's okay to serve. That's what a king does. A king serves his kingdom, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at it from a servant standpoint of being beat to do something, then that's where we have to change the thought process. We have to change the narrative.
Yeah, you got to go in there and all that good stuff.
Well, the black folks that has power here, what we have seen traditionally have been, and I'm not understand your idea, it makes sense, but the ones of us here in this country, in this house, okay, they have shown, I mean, history have shown that some of us are willing. And then, but, you know, time in our current state have shown that in this age, we're not for that. Because the ones who have the ability to do something about it is not like us who are just talking about it. But they are not doing anything while we are still deliberating over the quote unquote the plan of approach, the methodology, the whole process of this conversation.
Now, why do they got them? Why did the Most High bless them and put them in that position?
I guess to send them to hell, because they sure don't care about us.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. He's giving them an opportunity to show themselves approved. But what are they doing?
I don't know.
See
about
what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like when you say, I give 1 10, I give 1 5, I give 1 2, I give 1 1. He's giving them an opportunity to show themselves approved, brother.
Yep, that's an opportunity.
You don't have to use my exact words, but you should be able to understand clearly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get the point, but if he gave them the riches, if he gave them the seat, if he gave them the crown, and he gave them the scepter, and they're ruling in unrighteousness,
but they're not ruling.
That must mean he gave them also a mind that is set on self-will, and that's what they.
And they have to make a choice, brother.
Well, I don't know if they're making anything.
What they're going to do? Are they going to do what's right for the people, or are they going to do what's right for selfishness?
Well, that's what I just said. He gave them a mind to seek out the self-will.
I want to go over some scriptures with y'all one day, man, about that stuff.
We can go now. This is a good conversation to do that too. I'm just saying, if he gave them everything, I think the scriptures in Ecclesiastes says he make it rich and he make it poor. So if he make Floyd Mayweather rich, which he has, why doesn't Floyd Mayweather say, okay, it's time to build up these southern poverty states? Or
well, he got over 1,000 black people employed. He flexed his muscle one day.
If he was seeking, the grace of
flexed his muscle one day about all that.
That wouldn't.
And you know that's like feeding my dog one day. That's like feeding my dog one day.
Oh, talking about employing 1,000 people, maybe. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That maybe, you know what I'm saying? But he feeds
7 billion people on the planet, and one day you decide to have a brain fart and you feed 1,000 people. Hell, McDonald's does better than that.
No, I'm talking what I mean by feed. I mean he got them
Hold on one
employed.
second.
He got over
We
1,000
can't.
black people employed. That's what I mean.
Right. I was just about to say we can't
I mean,
speak
I get that.
about who he got employed because he got businesses, bro. And I
Right.
guarantee you, majority of the people that's running those
I
businesses look
missed
like
the
you and me, dog.
African Union conversation.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like that's what I
Now
was saying. I
I could
just
be
use him.
assuming, and it could be subjective what I'm saying, and that's a fact. But I'm just I wanna believe, right? I wanna believe
Mhm.
that not all of our brothers and our sisters that got bread, right, are just, you know what I'm saying, just some just straight morons, bro. I don't wanna
Well,
believe
do the
that,
research.
right?
Do the research. Go and see.
No, they're not
Like,
morons.
Listen.
They
I
just
understand
experts.
that
They're experts
majority of
on
them are
getting
morons.
money.
I just don't want to believe it.
yes,
They're experts on
yes.
getting money. They
I know
they
that.
they, they didn't focus their learning on the Most High. You feel me?
Or
Facts.
business and building infrastructure for black communities. There's very few. We just lost Nipsey Hussle, for example, right? This brother was about community, his community. He concerned about all communities. I'm sure if you concerned about one. However, that could be a very biased argument. The fact is, the ones who have the money, the wealth to do the things that we are talking about now, we're talking about building up black folks to be an independent nation at the end of the result. That's what we're talking about at the end of
Right.
it. But how do you get from the bottom of the staircase to the top floor of the
By getting
penthouse?
all of them on board, everybody that got a voice, get them all
An
on board at
elevator
the
has a
same time.
loading capacity.
Right.
Right.
Again, so
So
we
then
can't
we don't
afford
take the
helicopters.
elevator, Don. We take
I
the
mean, it
stairs.
has a
We
loading
take one step
capacity.
at a time, brother.
Okay,
You know what
and
I'm saying?
that's
There's
my
more than
point.
one way to get to the top.
Hey,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what
Yeah,
my
but
granddaddy used to say.
the
Sometimes we
elevator
gotta
can
take
hold 10.
sometimes we gotta take
The
the hard way.
elevator can
You know what I'm
hold
saying?
10 trillionaires
So
though.
by the time we get to the top, we got enough stamina to deal with everything that's at the top.
An
My
elevator
granddaddy
can
used to say
hold
that all the
10
time.
trillionaires. You
There's a
feel
Y'all
me?
ever
form of
heard the cow?
verbiage.
Y'all ever heard the cow parable? Y'all know y'all granddaddy told y'all that the cow joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say,
If
granddaddy,
you want
there's
the
a whole
milk,
bunch
you
of
got to
cows
put
at the
up with the
bottom of the
bullshit.
hill. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of cows at the bottom of the hill. Let's run down there and catch one. Granddaddy say, no, grandson, let's not run down there and catch one. Let's walk down there and catch them all. You know.
Yeah.
We ain't never heard that parable, brother.
You ain't never heard that because they said it's a little more nastier than what
No,
I'm
that's
saying.
country. That's country. That's from the country. We ain't never heard
I
of it,
know
brother.
that. I know it. I know
It
it. I
sounded
know
like he was
exactly how
talking
it
about
go.
stealing,
I
though. I
know
ain't
how
gonna lie to
exactly
you,
how it go.
because if it was his
Yeah,
cows,
yeah, it's
he
it's,
wouldn't need
it's
to
some
have
more
that
it's some
conversation. I don't
cussing
think.
going on in there, but I ain't want to cuss.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
How do
right.
we get how do
So
we get rid of
what
this?
I'm saying
How
is
do
that
we
an
get rid
elevator can hold 10 trillionaires. So in other words, an elevator can hold 10 people who can reach 40 million black people in America.
But they still got to take the stairs to get up there where they are. My
What?
point
yes
is,
they
Floyd
do.
Mayweather is the one who provides the elevator.
Yes they
Okay,
do.
Right.
and
In
only
order to move
only a
millions of
thousand
people,
people can fit on it, right?
Right.
There it
right.
goes. I fed 1,000 people one day. That's the equivalent of me saying I fed 1,000 kids in Africa one day.
You focused on Africa now, huh?
I never got off Africa.
Brother, we need to fix America first, right?
So so
I'm
And
so
saying
one
in
then
word, right?
America. That's what I was saying. You got to follow along with the flow of my methodology here. I'm
okay,
using Yashar's example
Africa
to say as a
American.
platform, but the base of the but that's just the foundation
Hmm.
and what he brought. But how do you get a full base?
You're gonna
You
have to
first
be
need to look at,
codified in your steps, man.
okay, so we're here in America. One of us got wealth, Floyd Mayweather. I just use him. He helps 1,000 people get to the top.
Hmm.
There's other people out here that need the same type of attention. I
Hmm.
just use the word attention. And this is what we're focused on. We're not focused on Floyd Mayweather or Oprah or Michael or you or me. We're focused on the black community, the black race in
Hmm.
North America.
Okay, well
Before we
get
get to
Floyd Mayweather
Africa,
on the phone.
hold
So
on, let me
what
finish
you
out. Just let me finish.
said, Don, this is
Before
what
we
I
get
got
to
out of what you just
Africa,
said,
look at where
real
we
quick.
are here.
Don,
I'm saying
Now
before we get to
let me
Africa,
chime into what you just said,
hold
Doc.
on. Just let me get this point out so we can move further in your example. Before we get to Africa, and we're here with this type of wealth, we're not doing anything but helping a few of us. When we go to Africa, you're going to do the same thing. We're not moving as a unit. We're not moving as a family or a house. We're
Right.
moving individually, trying to get reparations for the entirety.
Right.
That is a false dilemma, if
Yeah.
I ever seen one.
Right. That's a
There has
fact.
to be a better approach. There has to be more sound reasoning when dealing with this. Is our goal just money? Is it
Yeah.
just
No.
power? Is it
Yeah.
just protection? Is it
Yeah.
just better school? Or
Yeah.
is
No,
it
see,
we just need
let
better
me.
homes to start with? To
No, see,
start with. You
so
see?
this is the thing,
Need
right?
all of those
If we
things.
talking about
Better
reparations, bro,
family.
right?
I
If
think
we
it's
talking about
unrealistic for
reparations, right?
reparations.
Is my phone muted or something?
I got you.
No, I'm sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead, brother.
I was wondering, bro, because I was just trying to talk and y'all keep on
Yeah,
talking
go
over me, and
ahead,
I don't
brother.
want to yell and shit, bro.
Brother, go ahead,
So
bro. Go
look,
ahead.
man. So like, we talking about reparations and everything. Like, if you look at what they call, I guess you can say the Jewish reparations, right? Um, this thing right here, not only did they receive, not only are they continuously receiving finances and money, right? But they were also given a land to call their own, to name
Thank
themselves
you.
after an ancient people,
Thank
right?
you.
Right.
A land that was
And
already
then
occupied.
not only that, but they're given a flag. They have a seat at the union, as if they their own people, as if they their own ancient people that have been
As
here
if
since nations have been upon the earth.
as
This
if
is
they're
what they have.
Europeans.
Now, am I expecting the same shit from them? Hell
Yeah.
no.
Nope.
You better. Better.
Am I expecting
Nope.
a
Double.
dime from them wicked ass things?
Nope.
Hell to the
Yeah.
no.
You better.
But
Double.
what
Nope.
I am expecting is for the word to come true, right? Where when we are on our way back home, they're giving us our riches. More than enough. You understand? Overflowing. Our cups overflowing. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah. They
it's
all
no
they can do
we
is
don't
give
even
us back
in
what they
our
stole.
minds and with the number that we have, like I can only count to a certain number, right? And after that, the shit just gets all crazy for me, right? So with that being said,
Right.
they cannot pay us back. They can't pay us back. They can't
They
pay
can
me
try.
back for
They
what the
can
fuck
damn
they
well
did to my grandfather, my great
do the best
grandfather,
they
my
can.
grandmother. Like they can't. There's no way on the planet they are able to do this.
They better
The
try.
Most High said that He will make sure that all of these things happen for us, as long as we get back in line with Him. So if we are not making sure that that point is always driven into this conversation of reparation, then we're never going to get to the understanding that we need as a nation of people, not just one, not just two,
Okay.
right?
What are
But
the
as a nation.
specific? What are the specifics? What are the specific steps to do some of these things?
My bad. Go ahead, Christos. Mute out.
No, I was saying, what are the specific steps to do some of these things?
Specific steps as far as be a little bit more specific. Because when you say do some of these things, I need to understand what some of these things are.
Okay, I would say like one step would probably be to grow a garden, because the Bible teaches you that, right? To grow a garden.
God.
That's feeding. That's feeding yourself. You know. So I was just wondering what you thought some of the specific steps are.
Right. So, absolutely. Basic foundation. First, establishing a land so that we can do these things, so that we can grow our food. Not only the agricultural part, but then the engineering part. What's the best way to utilize the land, you understand, without destroying the land, right? How do we build? What structures do we build? How do we build structures that's permanent, or do we do a structure that's movable? You understand? So
Right.
that the land can rest. So that the
Now
land
that
that was resting can now be used to grow, right? And the land that's resting can now be used to live upon, because we won't be doing nothing but living there, right? No growing, no tilling, no nothing, right? So these are steps that I think about,
Don't lock yourself in that room.
you know,
Girl.
which are I'm gonna say
so,
just foundational steps.
Then you gonna
You
be
know, nothing
mad.
major, nothing
so
big.
should we be getting behind movements like the New Black Wall Street or something like that?
You know, and then even within the midst of doing that and establishing that, we all have to be trained to protect what's ours. Those that's 13 on up, they need to understand how to protect themselves
I
and their
agree.
families.
So should we be getting?
You understand? Not 15, not 16. I'm saying 13 is a great age for them to start establishing an understanding mentally, right? Not just how to protect themselves, but how to build fires, how to build fires in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Understanding what herbs, what foods is righteous and good for us to eat if we caught out in the wild.
I agree.
These things are mandatory or very important for us to understand as a foundation.
I agree. So do you think we should get behind movements like the New Black Wall Street?
I never heard of that. What's that?
It's a town in Toonsboro, Kentucky, I
Georgia.
think it was. Georgia? Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. 97 acres. The 19 families got together and purchased 97 acres for a
Right.
refuge city.
Right. Now they looking for people to expand that, you know. Would that be a
Well,
good place to start?
see, now I would say this, because I'm not a part of the 19 initial family members that jumped into that and came together to make that happen. You understand? I will have to understand me bringing my skill set to that community. What would that do for me and my family? Right now, time, not a year from now, not 2 years from now. Right now,
Christos
me
is a
shutting down everything that I got going
deflection
on,
master.
where I'm at, to bring my skill set to that community. What's going to
He's a
happen with my
master of
family?
deflection.
Okay.
How will my family survive while I'm bringing my skill set, my family's bringing their skill set to help build this community?
Those are valid questions. Definitely valid.
I would have to understand that
know.
before I can make any type of decisions on whether I'm gonna go help these people. You know, like it takes a lot. Like if their
Right.
foundation is not, like for instance,
Can two stand together? Can two stand together? I get it.
Right.
Yes.
What's your foundation? Is your foundation the Most High, or is your foundation, Black Power?
One thing about that question, though, is it brings a lot into view, because Most High to some is not the same Most High to others. See, the Hindu, the Most High is Brahma, Vishnu, and Yashiv.
Well, there's only one Most High, brother.
Well, there's many Most Highs to the world.
Well,
So
stop.
in the context of it, if I ask
Stop while you're way behind, brother.
If I ask you specifically who is the Most High, and I ask a Roman Catholic who the Most High is, y'all gonna say y'all not gonna say the same thing, are you?
I would
Therefore, amongst
will.
us, it's the same way. Amongst us, it is the same way. It's a lot of power and weight in words.
Yes, you're exactly
I would
right.
simplify that like this, Don. I would make it a heartache for myself. I would simplify it like this. If you call it the Most High by one of the names outside of the European, right? Trying to get back to understanding his true name that we use, whether it's Hawashai, Yeshua. You understand what I'm saying? Like now we have a starting foundation. So now I understand where your mindset is and where you're trying to go and who you seek.
So you're saying even if we agree,
you still talking about you stuck on this Jesus. You still talking about Yahweh and
I mean, not completely entirely.
I'm gonna have to say, you know what, brother? What we're trying to do and where we're going, it's not going to work we on two different paths, right? You still want to be there with Yahweh and Jehovah and all that shit that we're trying to separate ourselves from, brother. So
Right,
I
but
can't rock with that type
right,
of
but
shit.
the thing is, we'd never be able to unite. Then is what we're saying right now.
Well, listen. We're talking about building a community here. Everybody's not going to want to like. It's more than 19 families. Trust me, I know that they know more than 19 people. 19 families. I know for a fact each one of those families knows some families. About 5 or 6 families apiece or more. But it was only 19 that was able to buy into that system and understand that and come together. So that's what it's about, Christos. I'm not looking to be able to grab the whole entire nation because I know our whole entire nation is not ready like that. So I can only work with those that's ready like that. And for those that eventually come around, we're ready for you. We got open arms. Welcome home. If you're not ready, okay, well, brother, you know what I'm saying? Figure it out.
Right, but what I'm saying is, those people, those 19 people, how many of those people actually probably go by the same name that you call?
But that's what I just said, though, Christos. I said, like, as long as we're separating ourselves from what they gave us, what they told us his name was, right? So we're seeking his face according to our language, even in this English language. Like, we don't use the J's, we use the Y's. Why? Because there is no J in the language. And then we also can spell the name in English using the letters and the alphabets in English without adding J and all that old weird shit. So that's my mindset, that's my point. It's like, I don't have a problem with a brother saying Yahweh Shai because I don't use that. I don't have a problem with a brother saying Yeshua right now because I used to say that name. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I understand what you're saying, but if they're progressing, and they're already accomplishing the things that we're talking about right here, then how is that? I'm not understand. You saying?
What do you mean? What do you mean if they progress and they are already accomplishing the things that we're doing right here?
Are you saying that it's a problem that they're doing it, or are you saying that it's just something that you would not want to be involved with?
I don't want to be involved with those people when it comes down to building my community. Why? Because I don't want to argue and go back and forth with these people while we're trying to build and structure this community. I don't want to establish a conflict and a division way during the foundation building. I don't want that shit, right?
Right.
I want the foundation to be like-minded, so there's no cracks, no crevices. Everything is solid. Regardless,
then that's when we need to go back.
Yahushai, and I use the name Yahushai. Right?
That's when we need to go back to code.
And you say Yahushai, but we still
rocking together. That's when we need to go back. That's when we need to go back to code. We need to go back to code. That's when we need to go back to code.
What is going back to code?
Where we understand that we come from different ideas and we are all at different stages, but we have to work together beyond those stages.
Ain't that what I just said? Like it's a point in time. It's a point in time in our mature minds where we understand that people are going to stay where they at. People are going to say, well, you know what? Regardless of what you're talking about, I like the name of Jesus, so I'm gonna stick with the name of Jesus.
But what if the person
I like the name God, so I'm gonna stick with the title God?
What if the person who says God but he's building? He's doing it already. It's not something that we here talking about it. They've already done it.
Well, that's what they doing. I'm not a part of that. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm not trying to be a part of that. I'm not trying to come into something. I'm not trying to come into an establishment where their mindset is Jesus Christ, and they okay with being called Christians and all that other shit. They got a problem with, you know what I'm saying, those who understand that they Yahweh Shirah. They building a community, so be it, bro. More power to you. I just won't be adding to it. I won't be a part of that at all.
Okay. That's what I was trying to establish. Okay. It's all good.
You know, it ain't no hate, you know. Ain't no knock on what they doing. They got their mindset, they got their way of doing things. I have mine. So I'm going to rock with my brothers and sisters that understand the way I understand.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Of like mind. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Now, if we can trade amongst each other, the goods that we're growing, that we're establishing in each community, because we in range to do so, I don't see no problem with that. But I'm not about to come to your community and try and set up shop and try and change what you guys got going on in y'all community. Y'all have y'all stuff established already. Y'all understood how y'all was establishing. And if y'all wanted anything different, y'all would have had that difference in the foundation. But y'all don't. So it'll be disrespectful and unrighteous of me to come in there and try and destroy your foundation because I feel like our foundation is better. Like that's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just for the record, I don't know what their stance is. I just threw that out there, but I don't know what their stance is.
No, that's cool because these topics and these things need to be addressed and talked about. People need to understand where people at.
I think
We
at
need
the
to
end of
make
the day,
sure because
we still gonna have to get to the white supremacy thing, how to get around that, and the basics, right? On how we relate to one another. That is the biggest thing. Outside of everything else that we talked about today, the biggest thing is how we relate to one another. Because half of the things that's used against us is us being used against one another as a tool.
I'll
We
drive
are the
that.
tools. That's what we are.
So for one thing, I need to understand, when I'm building with my brothers is where our mindset is. You know, what do your community look like according to your understanding, to what you view the community to be? When I'm talking about rocking with the founders, because it's going to take founders to make things happen, to get things established. Conversations like these going to have to take place before the work starts to take place. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I believe that the Most High allowing us to have these type of conversations, because it's work that's about to take place. You know,
Yeah, I think it's an individual thing that has to take place personally.
what you mean by that?
It's going to take each individual to know how we relate to one another first. Then we get to the growing garden, the doing. We got to we got to get we got to get to the foundation first. Then we go to the do.
Don't you think that come in the midst of us establishing a relationship with each other? This is why we
Well, yeah,
spend
that's what I
time. This is
mean.
why we talk to each other on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, all of this is part of it. You know.
Because, like, you know, we all got to understand each other's temperament. We all got to understand each other's, triggers, things like that. So we understand when we talking to each other, how to deal with each other. Because I really take that into consideration. You understand? Like when I'm talking to each one of you brothers, or if I'm talking to a panel of you brothers, I really try to take that into consideration on what triggers you, what makes you go somewhere, what makes you, respond in a certain type of way, to where it'll take the conversation somewhere else. So that I'm not doing those type of things. You know what I mean? Because my intentions is to be able to establish clear communication. If I'm using trigger words just because I know it's going, send the conversation somewhere else, then like what am I really doing with my brothers? What is my real focus?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna end the live. Good show, brothers. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't even know we was live, bro.
Hey, we've been live for two
Shoot,
hours.
man, you got me on live like this, bro.
Hey, it was in the back chat. Live. We
Dang,
live.
bro, hold up, bro. Like, dang, I'm on here cussing and all type of stuff, bro.
Well, you
What's
ain't the
going
only
on?
one. You ain't the only one. Everybody in cussing.
No, I'm just clouded, bro. Hey, shalom, family. I didn't know we was live though. Shalom, shalom.
Don't be telling that story now. I don't be on there cussing. That's not my job. That's not
Yeah,
what I do.
Except Christos. You know what I'm saying? Everybody keep it clean, but some people on here, let me put it like that. I ain't gonna call nobody out, marginalize nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna,
Hey,
end the show. You know
peace,
what I'm
y'all.
saying?
Appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Shalom.
Hey, good show to
I
everybody. We
appreciate
about
you,
to
Yeah.
close this thing
appreciate
out.
y'all. Tanks on the ground.
Tanks on the ground. Source Debate League. Subscribe to the channels. Y'all World 777. Source Debate League on YouTube. Genesis 49 to support. We will be doing more lives like this. And if y'all in the comments, y'all want to be a part of the conversation, we'll get y'all a part of the conversation as well. Today we was talking about black restoration, and let the brothers throw ideas at each other and see which one that they thought would be the best plan for us to execute, man. So if y'all got any suggestions, just hit me up. Join the Source Debate League on Facebook, and shoot, we gonna be in touch, and we gonna continue to produce content for y'all, man. Shalom.